I was coming down this way, and the fire alarm went off, and these people from this hallway came out, and they're walking down in front of me, and they're acting completely normal. They're not acting like they heard anybody shoot anything. They're actually joking with each other. One guy jumps up and tries to hit the top of the roof. I mean, they're jovial. So that really confused me. I thought, well, if there's a shooting down here, why is everybody acting like nothing's going on?
We didn't hear anything going on. We didn't hear any shots, but it was noisy in the gym, even though we were not far from the art room. And the kids she had girls basketball, I had boys basketball, they're bouncing balls, and so we just didn't hear anything until the fire alarm went off, and that's when we were trying to exit the building. But what we did not realize is that when we exited the building, we were actually going past the shooter because the hallways intersected where he was and where the exit door was where we were taking the kids to get out. The first shot I heard, it was so loud, it was so deafening, and it was almost blinding to me. I felt like I couldn't see. I thought it was a bomb. I fell on my face, and so I sat up, and when I sat up, I could see that one of my legs was twisted and broken, and then I saw there were holes in my legs, and that's when I realized I had been shot. I've been shot 5 times, and with a shotgun. That almost scared me even more so than it being a bomb, because then I knew that there was someone there that had just shot me. They were still there, and I didn't know if they were coming outside the door.
As soon as I come up like this, about a second or two later, my arm gets hit, I get shot. Gary Ford was behind me. While he was putting the tourniquet on me, I kept telling him, leave me, just leave me. I could not stand the thought of Gary getting shot because he was taking care of me. I did not want the attack. But I did not realize how bad my injury was either, because had he not done that, had he waited and gone up to the corner and left me there bleeding, I would have died. So I'm very thankful to Gary that he sat there and put that tourniquet on me, because he was risking his life, obviously. Because had that guy come around the corner, he could have shot both of us.
I couldn't move my broken leg. My other leg that was shot, I was still able to use, and I tried to scoot around away from the doorway. And at the same time, luckily, I had carried my bag with me, and my phone was still on top of it. And so I grabbed my phone, and I didn't think to call 911. I called him because I knew he was here at home, because I just literally laid on my phone. I told him I was shot and come get me. And I crawled as best I could around, trying to hide around the side of the building.
It's pretty intense when someone wakes you up and tells you they've been shot, and you don't know where they're at, you don't know who shot them, you don't know why they shot them. So I jump up, throw on clothes that I had on the night before, and take my firearms that I have beside my bed, put them in my pockets, and go get her daughter up. I told her, we gotta go to school, your mom's been shot. And I didn't know whether to tell her or not, but the thought went through my mind is, what if she never sees her again? Been a nightmare.
Yeah, we've had a lot of trouble with.
Nothing's gone smoothly for us since the shooting.
But my main focus now is trying to get substitutes trained, and they're working on a bill that will do that, that will require all school districts to train substitutes in active shooter drills. Also give them keys and any type of whatever they need to be able to protect students. We had no keys to lock any doors. We couldn't lock our students in if there was an active shooter. There was nothing I could do to protect students as a sub. Some of the phones did not work correctly. The substitute in the room next to the art room, he saw the shooter. We have an emergency number. You're supposed to get help right away that's listed in our sub pack. The office, he knew there were officers down there. I don't know where the lines exactly go to, but he called the numbers, no one answered. He could not get an outside line to 911. So he was not able to call for help And in the room he was in, his cell phone did not have reception. So there's a lot of issues that need to be addressed so that substitutes are not put in that position.
There's no really medical explanation for me not being more injured or dead.
How many is that?
I don't know, I was just doing it till you said stop.
Oh, okay. All right, we're going to turn over. We're going to turn your chair face me.
You have traumatic blood loss, it goes to your heart and your brain to keep it alive. Presses or curls or whatever.
So you're just going to do chest press first.
You got the heavy one, huh? That's good. If you get hit in an artery, it only takes, I don't know, I've been looking online, between like 2 and 5 minutes before you bleed out enough to where your heart will stop. I bled out, and once your organs lose all that blood, the cells in your organs start to die. And even when you get that blood back in those organs, a lot of times your organs will fail because of all the cells that have died in those organs. Shoulder's not near as sore as it used to be. I had acute brain injury due to the loss of blood. I was slurring my words when I woke up. It was very exhausting for me to have a conversation, for me to watch television, to do simple math problems. About 30 minutes of that, and I would pass out and sleep for an hour.
We're going to go to the rows over there.
Okay.
So when you let go, I'll hold it out so that way you're not
Okay.
your head back. He's a trooper. It hurts. I know it hurts just by seeing his facial expression, but he never lets up. He keeps going. He's determined. Focus is on day-to-day living activities, but we incorporate activities, functional activities, in addition to exercise to restore motion strength, to get him back to doing things on his own without having his family cutting his food and just things like that for strength.
It's funny because I used to tell people every day above ground's a good day, and yeah, it means something now.
I thought there were some very heroic actions by many of the students in the art room. Not just, there were ones that literally gave their lives by holding doors shut and protecting other students. There were some that were in there that, kicked guns out of the shooter's hand, knocked bombs off a table, pried open doors so others could escaped. Some of them laid down and held doors closed with their body. There were very, very heroic actions. And the school district has never acknowledged them. Even the kids, the students that were wounded, that were back at the school when school started, other students didn't know who they were. They would bump into them because they were walking slowly down the hall and give them a hard time. Say, what's your problem? Why are you walking so slow? And these kids still literally have bullets in them. They were never recognized by the school. So I addressed the school board and talked about that and talked about their heroic actions and said that these were not the victims of May 18th, that they were heroes. And I would like them to acknowledge them. I've seen them shake hands with the cheerleaders that did well at the competition and some of the agricultural students, and that was great. So these kids attended the school board meeting. I asked them, I said, would you please shake hands with them? And they refused. They said, we don't have time.
Your time's up, ma'am. Go sit down.
Yeah. They would not even take the time to shake hands with these students that went through this horror. So we've been very disappointed with the school board.
So I got up and spoke, and I brought a bell in and announced that 10 people had lost their lives. Some of the family members came up, and I gave them a rose, and they rang a bell in recognition, kind of like they did at 9/11.
My son was Jared Connor Black.
And then I got up and said the names of the 13 that were injured, and nobody had ever heard their names in public before, and they told me my time was up. But it's been long enough, and their stories need to be told.
Mr. Rice, your time is up.
And so as I'm talking, they motioned for 2 police officers to come up and escort me out, and all of my friends stood up behind me and stopped them. And I kept talking. Kobe Rosenboom, Brianna Quintanilla, Clay Horn.
Let him speak. Please let him speak.
They don't want to hear nothing we have to say. They do not want anybody, and they say, oh, we'll recognize everybody when it's our time and when the time is right. It's 8 months later. They've never done it. They've never visited all of these people's homes. They've never
No,
called
I've
them.
never, no.
They never
No,
have
the school
reached
board
out to
never
any
has.
of us and said, is there anything we can do for you? You know, can we bring you food? You know, while these parents are grieving, and the parents of the victims, of the injured, they're taking off work constantly, taking their kids to the doctors. They're going, they're having to pay for out-of-pocket expenses, and the school's not paying for any of it. They're not helping with anything. They don't help anybody in any way, shape, or form.
They've completely tried to sweep it under the rug.
And they turn their backs on us. They turn their back on her. The principal and the administration will see her, their own employee, and turn around and walk away.
Mm-hmm. I guess they want to pretend it never happened.
We, the 10 of Santa Fe, watched you cry and heard you pray. The parting of our souls and landing of our feet place us in God's hands on heaven's golden street. We soar with the angels and watch from above. From the heights of heaven we feel all your love. We love it in heaven, the beauty and glory. We hear you on earth telling our story. We admire your courage in the battle you fight to ensure other parents can kiss their children goodnight. We may not be with you, but we are not gone. We send our strength from heaven to help you carry on.